on the basis of pH. Thereafter, total dissolved solvent, major ions, major, minor as well as the trace element, hardness, salinity, alkalinity as well as the dissolved oxygen. Thereafter, CO2, that is the carbon dioxide. So these are the different types of factors. Those are to be contribute on the basis of the chemical factor 1. So first factor, which is simply called as a pH, which is simply called as a pH 1. So the pH, which is to be referred to the effective concentration of which ion? Hydrogen ion into the aquatic medium, and it always range from 0 to 14. So we know that acidic, basic as well as the neutral pH 1. So it is to be measured with the help of the pH meter 1. So water is said to be acidic when it is to be having pH 7, less than 7. When it is neutral, alkaline, it is above the 7, and when it is to be having the neutral value, then after it is to be having the 7. So acidic water we are not used, so neutral water we have to be used for a different types of purposes 1. Thereafter there is to be having the TDS. It is to be simply called as a total dissolved solids. It is to be simply called as a total dissolved solids 1. So the concentration of non-volatile substances when they are to be present into the colloid or the molecular state, then after it is called as a TDS 1. So when we are to be use the Kent, aqua, then after the TDS is always maintained. So the total ions present into the water expressed into the ppm, that is the unit, or mg per liter. So increases due to the dissolution of more mineral substances by the water on its pathway. So the TDS, which is to be determine the suitability of water for our use as well as the consumption 1. So TDS, when it is to be maintained, then after we have to be use the particularly quality of water 1. So the TDS, which is to be represent, see, more than 1000 it is fresh water, near about 1000 to 10,000 blackish water, 10,000 to 1 lakh it is saline water, and less than 1 lakh then after it is called as a hyper saline or the brine water 1. So these are the some parameters on which we have to be detected the such a type of dissolved solids 1. So these are the some basic units, mg per liter, positive and negative charges are there, and level of toxicity which are to be depend on particularly different types of constituent 1. And based on the concentration, the major ions, those are to be represented below the 10 mg per liter, that is the mostly bicarbonate, calcium, magnesium and other ones. Then after minor ions, those are to be mostly carbonate, fluorides, nitrates, potassium, iron, strontium as well as the borons 1. Thereafter trace elements, those are in the form of the aluminum, arsenic, barium, bromide, cadmium and major, that is the nickel, zinc, phosphate, silver. These are the major ions 1. So these ions, these are to be formed, that is a includation into the that particularly to maintain the quality of water 1. So major ions, those are to be positively charged called as a cations, and negatively charged are to be simply called as a anions 1. Which are the cation into the water? So calcium, magnesium, potassium, these are the source of lithosphere. The calcium is also very much important for our body, and major anions are called as the bicarbonate, carbonates, chloride, sulfate, nitrate, phosphate, phosphorus, silicon. So silicon is never occur into the free state. It is soluble silicates and is used in the form of the salt of diatom sponges. Silicon for the which is to be formed on the basis of the different type, that is a formation of activity on the spicule 1. What is about the phosphorus? It is occur into the free form, that are orthospecies, thereafter polyphosphate, particulate organic phosphate. Inorganic phosphate usually occur into the dissolved form only in a small amount in a natural water. It is essential for primary producer into the eutrophic lake sperm. Phosphorus level is always high. Then after, what is about the iron as well as the magnesium? So it is one of the most widely distributed element on the earth, occur in fresh water, small amount into the specific solubility. That means they have to be included into the trace element, which are it is an inorganic substance, sulfate component occurring into the natural water in a sulfate. It is absorbed by the phytoplankton activity of microorganism and important into the sulfate cycle 1. Then after, organic matter which are to be present into the natural habitats 1. And see, these substances, those are to be present into water, those are to be form the different types of activity on the vegetation, phytoplankton, zooplankton, those are to be present into the aquatic regions 1. So an important group of organisms such as the water consists of humic substance, which are the mix of colloidal, dispersed fluid, humic acid as well as the non-colloidal dissolved substances. In humic acid, concentration which is to be brownish color of the water and tropical rivers 1. So heavy metal ion may also become from different types of actions as well as different types of effects on the water quality as well as the water quantity. What is about the hardness? It is of the particularly content of metabolic ions which react with the sodium soaps to produce a residue. So the hardness which is to be cause the adverse effect on the water, and hard water we are not used for a drinking purpose. So it is to be depends on particularly calcium as well as the magnesium 1. So the total hardness which is to be 2.5 calcium and 4.1 magnesium. So soft water which is to be temporary and hard water which is to be simply called as a permanent water. What is about the salinity of water? So as we know that which is to be consist of sodium as well as the chlorides 1. So when both are present into the water, then after these are responsible for to form the salinity of water 1. So C which is to be consist of 35,000 ppm or mg per liter of dissolved salt. So that's why we are not able to use the such a type of salinity of water. What is about the chemical factor? That is the alkalinity. So it is the combination of bicarbonates as well as carbonate when they are to be mixed with the calcium ions 1. So it is to be simply called as a alkalinity. It is to be simply called as a alkalinity. So it has the relationship with the pH, acidic pH, neutral pH as well as the basic pH. So